Welcome to our workshop on the financial aid process. My name is Ron Foisey. I'm with Smart Track College Funding, and I'll be your presenter for this workshop this evening. Finance has become more and more important every year. The reason that it has become so important goes back to how much it costs to send their kids to college today. Background. From 1999 to 2009, up 92%, near doubling in 10 years. It's going up 5% each and every year since then. All our pails have been relatively flat. The market's been going up and down. Lately it's been going up, which is a good thing. We had a housing market collapse in 2008. A lot of things have been going against it, but cost of college has been going up and up and up. And the Hilton Project put together a study. People pay for college. And let's go back into the 1990s on the left side of this chart. And see here is the savings, which is represented by the green bar chart in the middle of this graph, made up of the largest way that people paid for college in the 1990s. That is before the cost of college exploded. The biggest chunk, very small, was financial aid, and there was a little bit of loan money down at the bottom of the chart in the aqua. Forward into the 2010s, you have a dramatic shift, and that financial aid is eating up almost half of how people are paying for college today. The quantity is in second place, which is part of the reason that we have a $1.4 trillion student loan crisis in our country. And then the smallest component of how people are paying for college today is coming from our savings. So financial aid is no longer a luxury. It's a necessity, and what I find more important is that it's not just the people that need financial aid that are getting the bulk of it. It's people that understand financial aid process. So congratulations to you for investing 30 minutes of your time to learn as much as possible in a short period of time about how to get financial aid. Now, College Resource Center has put these slides together for you. We've worked with thousands of families coast to coast, and we're very proud to be a partner with NCSA in presenting this information to you, as well as providing to you the Smart Track College Funding Toolkit, which you all have access to at this point. Just about my background, I started in financial planning in '94, went the traditional route with a CFP and securities license, did traditional planning for a number of years, but it wasn't until about 2003, 4, 5, when people who had been following my advice kept coming back to me and said, Ron, we're doing what you're asking us to do. We're saving our money. You're investing it for us. The money's growing, and we're applying to school, and we're applying for financial aid. We're getting anything because we've done 2 jobs saving money. And then I realized that the system was broken. Planning wasn't doing nearly enough, and it's my practice in 2005 to be exclusively a college financial aid advisor. So I focus exclusively on the aspect of college. In a couple of years after that, I will put it into effect with my family. Here's Ryan, graduated in 2010, went off to Syracuse, graduated 4 years later with a mechanical engineering degree, and Jacqueline in 2012 joined him in college. And she went to Tufts, got a biological engineering degree. They're both employed in their fields. And Barb and I were able to survive 6 years of college payments at private schools because we were able to optimize the base financial aid in addition to the merit aid that the kids earned. So aid is out there. It's $150 $50 billion each and every year. Many analysts, when they hear that number, say, Ron, we know it's a lot of financial aid, but we make too much, we have too much, we're not going to get financial aid. Why should we even bother? Well, I can tell everybody on this call that if you apply for financial aid, you will get it. If you apply for financial aid, you're going to get it. All right, what's the catch? There are 4 components to financial aid: grants, scholarships, loans, work study. The only component that is guaranteed are the loans. And the federal government provides 43% of all financial aid in the form of federal loans. What about when we hear of financial aid are the collegiate resources? This is where the colleges will dip into their endowments and assess cash flow and give grants and scholarships to deserving students. This free stuff that we're all looking for. So determine who gets what aid. It all starts with this formula: COA minus EFC equals need. Is critically important to understand, and it's so important that if you haven't been taking notes up till now, I'd suggest that this is probably a good place to start. Cost is the OA part of this equation, and it includes tuition, room board, books, travel, fees, miscellaneous. This COA, cost of attendance, is recognized by the Department of Education as the official list price of the school and make federal loans available up to the cost of attendance. Successful and you want to borrow all the money, they're there to help. Not that much help, but the part of the formula is estimated family contribution, this EFC number. This minimum amount they're expecting you to pay, and explain that this is similar to a copay with your health insurance plan. You expected to pay your copay first. Then you're eligible for the insurance company to come in and pay the rest of the bill, and sometimes they'll pay the whole bill, and sometimes they'll only pay part of it. And it's the same with financial aid. The school is expecting you to pay the EFC first, and then they'll consider giving you some or all of your demonstrated financial need. And that third part, which is need. Now, family contribution number, if you have more than one in school at the same time, your contribution will get divided over the number of kids in college at the same time. Say Ryan started in 2010, and his freshman and sophomore years, he was the only one in school, so our entire family contribution went to Syracuse. In 2013, when Jacqueline started, our family contribution got divided. A portion went to Syracuse, a portion went to Tufts, but we're paying the same amount during that, but we were covering 2 kids. And the need is your ability, and that number to be as big as possible. Now, we cannot control the cost of attendance. The schools established that. Family contribution number, there are things that you may be able to do with timing of income and repositioning of assets to bring family contribution number down. And if the number goes down, your need will go up, increase your financial aid eligibility. So how does the formula actually work? So since you've invested this 30 minutes to find out, we downloaded for you the simplified flowchart from the Department of Education so you can understand exactly how it works. Isn't this chart from the Department of Education to help you? I'm sure everybody's got this memorized. Now you know exactly how financial aid works. Well, let me spend a couple of minutes and tell you there are four main components of financial aid eligibility, and it's with income, parents, then assets of the parents, student income, and student assets. That this year, adjusted gross income in the base income year, with prior year to when they start college. Seniors this year, class of 2018, are using the 2016 income tax return. If older, they're looking at your 2017, the sophomore class of 2020, they're looking at your 2018 tax return. So it's important to understand where they start. If you've got a sophomore 2020, you want to ensure that you create voluntary income 2017 so it does not show up in the base income year. Let's stick with the 2018s for a minute using the 2016 tax return, and you're going to find the income number they're looking for on the adjusted gross income line. If you know a 1040, that's going to be on line 37. Now you will to subtract in the box a living allowance. Well, a generous term for what the number actually is. And last year, for a family of four, the was $20,440. That's what they're allowing you to live on. And some credit for paying your income taxes and Social Security, and multiply that a factor of 22 to 47%. And this factor is a sliding scale based on how much income you're making, how large the family is, a lot of variables, but it works out to about 25%. And that becomes the contribution from income each and every year. So $100,000, you're expected to contribute around $5,000. Lot. Most people have a hard time on $100,000 of income squeezing an extra $2,000 plus every month out of their budget. But that's where the formula begins. So remember, from an income, they're going to look at it every year. It's to your advantage, in the specifically, to make sure you're doing some upfront planning to keep your income then as low as possible. Are broken into countable and non-countable assets. Will be countable. What I mean by that is that your retirement accounts are not included in the financial aid formula. A 403B, counted. Another asset that many families have is home equity. If the school that your kids are going to is a school that uses the federal methodology, then your home is not counted in the formula as well. However, if using the institutional methodology, the equity in your home, everything else. Savings, checking, stocks, bonds, CDs, 529 accounts, investment properties, retirement homes. Everything else counts in the financial aid program. Accounts and times the equity in your home. You subtract the asset protection allowance that for a married couple, this is approximately $15,000 to $20,000. and is then multiplied by a factor of 5.64%, and that's contribution from assets. The silver lining in countable assets is your kids have been in school a few years, this keeps going down and down and down. So by the end of 6 years, or 8 years, or 10 years, or 12 years, the contribution from assets typically is a smaller and smaller chunk. But it always hurts most right up front before to spend it down. So there may be some things that you can do prior to submitting your financial aid form to assets, prior to filing the forms, to get this number down as low as possible. This college funding kit is a terrific tool to help you quantify how much of your estimated family contribution number is coming from income, how much is coming from assets. If you reposition, what would be additional amount of financial aid you receive? Calculated the same way as parent income prior year. They're going to adjust to gross income. The first 6% or so is excluded from the formula. If more than that, they're going to expect a contribution of 50% of the excess. So make $1,000 a year, kids, no problem. If that earnings went up to $10,000 or $4,000 above the baseline, they're going to expect you to contribute 50% of that extra $4,000 or $2,000 as a student contribution from income. So it doesn't mean don't work. All it means be aware of what that limit is, and at some point it would typically to your advantage something other than work if it's going to be at 50 cents on the dollar. Some extra test prep, start a community service project, attend a clinic, things that are going to make you as a student more desirable to the school. And the last part of this formula are student assets, and they have asset protection allowance, so they're going to start assessing it right from $1. The assessment rate is 20 to 25%. It's absolutely the worst place to have money once to minimize your need-based financial aid. So one thing I want to make sure you get out of this call tonight is if you have any money in accounts, if they have money in their own accounts, it's typically a huge advantage to reposition that prior to submitting the financial aid forms and get out of their name. Toolkit will help you to quantify what that's going to be. Let's take a case study look at a couple of families that look almost identical on paper. $80K of income, $90K of assets. He has $150,000 of real estate with 4 in the family, 1 in school. But this net difference, EFC for family A is $17,080. Family B is $9,425. And I all agree that would rather be family B with a lower contribution number, and accomplish quite simply by repositioning a countable asset for submitting the forms. And because no look-back period, you can position today, submit your financial aid forms tomorrow, and it will not be counted. So use the toolkit to find out if that will apply to your special situation. Federal number one way to get some money. There are a couple of grant programs. These tend to get applied more often to families with the highest amount of need. Work Study is a federal program where the schools use federal dollars to hire kids to work on campus. An important financial aid consideration here is that study dollars are not counted as student income, so it is specifically excluded. The federal called the Stafford loans are the #1 loan program each and every year. This is where your son or daughter is going to sign up on their own for these loans, take them each year, and as they take them out, they're able to defer repayment until they finish school. Interest loans currently is 4.45%, so not awful interest rate. In fact, for some kids, you may get some subsidized STEM loans. What subsidized means is that the government's paying the interest while the kids are in school. Means you're still getting the loan, but the interest is going to start as soon as you take it out. Another student loan is the Perkins loan. A lot of families that have a very low EFC number can get a Perkins loan. All the interest on Perkins loan is subsidized, meaning interest while you're in school. And the PLUS loan is the last loan program from the federal government where mom and dad, you can borrow up to the cost of attendance. The current interest rate on the PLUS loan program is 7%. So often more cost-effective ways for you to borrow other than the PLUS loan. It all depends on your family's personal financial situation. So you want to make sure that you take a look at the funding kit to see how much they're going to be expecting you to come up with and whether you're going to have to borrow and what the cost-effective way to get that is. Let's have some other programs that may be out there for kids in education or health professionals that are going to work in underserved parts of the community after college. You be eligible for interest rate subsidies or loan forgiveness. You want to check with the education department in your state or the state where the kids are attending college. And the colleges and universities really step up to the plate with grants and scholarships for a select group of individuals. They deep pockets. They charge a fortune for their schools, and they're going to be doling this money out on a first-come, first-served basis, and typically are going to give the most money to that are in the top 25% of the applicant pool. So the Smart College Funding Kit has a great listing of over 4,000 schools and what types of grades and test scores are typically going to be required in order to get maximum amount of merit aid. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that. Now, you're eligible for financial aid, then the college has to give it to you. And here's an example they put together. And the assumptions are that it costs $40,000 for school. The family contribution number is $19,000. So $40,000 minus $19,000 is a need of $21,000. Now the three colleges are all offering $20,000 of financial aid, but they pay it differently. College $9,000 a grant, $9,000 a loan, $3,000 a work study. Okay, now that 100% of need met. College 2 increased the grant amount by $12,000, reducing the loan to $6,000. 100%. College 3, $21,000, but it's a grant money. No repaid, no work study to perform. 6% of need met. In the program, we see in the D3 program, often they do not have athletic money to offer out. Can package the need-based aid in a way to attract the top student athletes to their program. And what's in college for here is the total amount of money they came up with is only $10,000, less than half of the financial need or eligibility. So the school's only giving 10 and you need 21. That additional $11,000 gets added to the $19,000 that you had to come up with to begin with. You're looking at $30,000. So to look very carefully at the sources in the college funding kit to find out exactly how the schools typically are meeting your financial aid. So this help and resource to come up with a student athlete. There's a leverage in the student process. There's also competition that's out there. You can play one school against the other, and you really get them to sharpen their pencils in the offer. And coaches can help with the financial aid to make sure that the offer that you're getting is close to 100% of need met, rather than a portion smaller than that. There's a lot of things that are going on here. Grants, loans, work study make up the financial aid that's out there. Funding assets is critically important to families to increase their eligibility, and you want to make sure that you get your financial aid forms filed on time, and aid and need-based aid to come up with as much money as you possibly can get out of the entire financial aid system. Now, the college funding kit to all of the families, courtesy CSA. You're going to be able to sign up for it, register for it, and once you're going to have access to our Learning Center, which is going to provide you with a variety of email tips, college strategy report. There are a couple of award analysis tools, workshops that are pre-recorded for you there. This is all available. The college strategy report is really the guts and the heart and soul of this tool. You're going to be able to input all of your information in there, and it's just enough because it is a private tool. You're not disclosing information to any schools or to the federal government. You play some what-if games within the tool to really find out exactly what your number is going to be, or what it could be if you made some changes. Once you have the data entered into the college funding kit, you'll be able to schedule a consultation to work with one of our college funding advisors who will help you to understand and interpret the data so that you understand exactly how the whole system works. Schedule that consultation online, and we would be looking forward to speaking to you as soon as possible. And as you have questions, you can also feel free to contact us directly here at the College Resource Center by emailing us info@smarttracktoolkit.com. Information we have for you here tonight, make sure that you get your financial aid forms in early. Use prior year tax return, your saving and investment as of the day that you submit the forms. Get up with the SmartTrack Toolkit and schedule your consultation, and be happy to work with you to make sure that you're squeezing every nickel out of the financial aid system. Thanks for your evening with us here tonight. Have a good evening.